Hey everyone, I'm Brian.
I'm Tyler.
And we're Gardener in Love.
Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of our Moon Garden series. If you're just finding us on YouTube or you're just catching up, we are planting a moon garden back here in our garden, which is going to be all white blooms. So far, we have done part 1, which was planting cone boxwoods and a boxwood hedge in a birch tree. And then part 2 was planting flowering shrubs. We planted 5 different types of flowering shrubs here in the moon garden. If you didn't catch those, I'll link them down below so you can catch up. Today, we are doing my personal favorite type of plants, which is perennials. I'm very, very excited to show you all of the perennials we have for our garden. As I told you in part 2, we are planning our wedding next year, and as we've been traveling around North Carolina to different venues, we've also been stopping at some different nurseries and garden centers and picking up some fun stuff. I've also placed a few orders online because I am that crazy person and I wanted very specific plants. So I'm going to start here on the sun side today. We started on the shade side last time. This side of our moon garden gets the most sun out of the two sides. So what you'll see today likes full sun over here. Not all of it is in bloom, unfortunately, because it is very early in the season here in North Carolina. We are actually supposed to get another frost here tonight, which is crazy this late in April for us. We are usually like full force. So we'll pop some pictures up on the screen for things that aren't in bloom, but trust me, it's really, really beautiful stuff. Okay, so let's get started. So the first one, back here, I have 1, 2, 3 behind this pugster butterfly bush. I have 3 luminary backlight phlox. I'll pop a picture up on the screen. This is going to be really nice, tall garden phlox. Gets about 30 inches tall at maturity. And the clump will eventually get to about 2 feet wide, which is really big. And we're planting these pretty close back here. Probably going to have to do some moving around eventually. That's okay. We have a young garden. We're cool with that, but we want it to feel full right now. What I liked about these when I was searching for phlox is that the blooms on this are really, really, really big and fat. There is also a hot pink version of this called ultraviolet that we have in the garden right behind Brian. And it did very well last year, so I'm excited to see how the white one performs. We've got 3 of these. I ordered these online from Garden Crossings, and I actually just got these a couple of days ago, and they're pretty good. I'm happy with the size. No damage reported in shipping, so I'm a happy camper. So we have 3 of these. Sit this back down right here. Next up, so this is one of my favorite things about going around to different garden centers is finding unique perennials or kind of non-branded plants. So this is one of those. So this is a butterfly weed or a milkweed, as you may hear it called. This is ice ballet. So I have 2 of these, and 2 is probably pushing it because milkweed does like to seed itself. We planted, I think, 2 plants of orange milkweed last year, and now we have about 12 shoots coming up. So this is going to fill up really nicely, I hope. What we would like to have is some monarch butterflies come and lay their eggs, and then we get to watch them hatch. Didn't have any luck last year, but maybe we'll get lucky this time. So I have 2 white butterfly weeds. This will get, let's see, this will get 3 to 3.5 feet tall. So it's going to be pretty high back here. We'll get some nice height out of this. And then, of course, the birch leaf spirea that we planted will eventually grow up, but it'll be a nice pollinator attractor. So I have 2 of these dotted back here. Next, oh, and this has a bloom on it. Next up, this is from Proven Winners. This is the Price is White Coneflower. I also ordered this from Garden Crossings, and I was amazed at the growth. Did not expect them to be this full. I mean, we bought some coneflowers from garden centers last year that were not even this full, so shout out to Garden Crossings. These are amazing plants. There are a couple blooms on here. So there's one kind of petered out already, and then there's another one shooting up. Like I said, it's very early here in North Carolina. It's end of April. And I don't want these plants focusing on blooms right now. So if I can get my Phlox open, I'm just going to take my Phlox and snip this off. And what that's going to do is it's going to push energy back into the plant, putting on leaves, putting on roots, which is what we want. We want it to be nice and established before we get into those hot, hot, humid North Carolina summers. So I have 4. I'm crazy. This is probably too many. But I have 4 coneflowers dotted through here, which is going to be a really nice show for the front. What I like about the Price is White coneflowers is they have really big, tall yellow cones in the middle, which is a really nice pop back here. Not everything is white about that plant, which is great. Okay, so last one on the sun side is Firefly Diamond Yarrow. We have not grown yarrow before. I have seen it at garden centers all over the place, and whenever we think, oh, maybe we should get that, we go back, it's gone. So when we saw this and another color, which we'll be planting in another video, and I was like, yep, I will be snagging this up. I don't even know how many that I really need, but I'm going to get 3. Again, this is going to get pretty big. This gets 24 to 28 inches tall and 32 to 40 inches wide. We did not follow the planting guidelines on this one either. We like our gardens to be full, people. So I've got 3 of these back here. Now, I know there's big arborvitaes right here. Eventually, those will stool out. We'll probably have to move some of this around. But that won't be for a few years, and I want to see some color. So we have 3 yarrows back here. We have the coneflowers in the front, the milkweeds, the phlox. This side gets a lot of sun throughout the day. I think these are going to fill in really, really nicely. You'll see we're still leaving spots here for annuals to come in. We're not completely filling this up, but this is going to give us a nice show. All of these will kick up once we get some consistent heat. Obviously, the coneflowers will be much later in the summer, but we'll show that growth to you as things move along. So if we continue over this way, I will take you to our part shade side. I don't want to call it full shade because it's not full shade. It is part shade. And really in the morning time, this right here gets probably like 3 to 4 hours of morning sun. And then once it gets to like the heat of the day, it is all protected. So we're not going to have anything fry over here or just go crispy once we get into the hot, hot summer. I think it'll be quite all right. So on this side, I actually, believe it or not, I do not have a single branded plant over here. We found a really cool place in Winston-Salem. I think it was called Frank's Perennials. It was very unassuming, and we were not expecting to buy anything, which is, you know, famous last words. And we went in there, and they had so many unique things that I had not seen before, and some stuff that we had been looking for, and so we snagged it up. We've been hoarding it. Some of it had not even flushed out new growth yet, so we took a big risk by just grabbing it up, and it's paid out. So here we go. So the first one I have here is a Nepeta or a Catmint. This is called Calamintha. So, oh my gosh, it smells so good. I wish you guys could smell this. It smells amazing. If we didn't have this fence, I know we'd have every cat in the neighborhood over here. So this is a white Nepeta, which is so cool. I had not heard of that before, and we were walking by, and Brian was like, oh, there's a Nepeta. And I walked over to the tag, and I was like, I'll be taking that home for my moon garden, thank you. So we bought all that they had. They had 4. This does kind of come out like a light periwinkle blue, So this is another one that we're pushing the envelope with. But eventually it will go to white. And if you see this online anywhere, a lot of people say that it looks like confetti when it's fully bloomed out. This is going to be a great perennial. And we like Nepeta because it blooms and then you can shear it back and you'll get a second flush. Sometimes if you have a really long season, you'll even get a third flush. I mean, it's kind of a weak flush, but you still get something to look at once you get into August and September. Let me look at the tag on this one. So this one is going to get 12 to 16 inches tall and 12 to 18 inches wide. So not super tall. I mean, it's not going to get taller than the Yuki Snowflake Deutzia that we have here, but it will be a nice little layer in front. So I have 4 of these. If I can get it back in the ground. Okay. So I have 4 of these, 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of dotted through here. And I'm very, very excited to see what this looks like. We have some other Nepeta in our garden, and it's just, it's glorious. Okay, next I have, let me get this one. This one's really good. This is Jobert Anemone. You can see it's just starting to leaf out. So this one's very sentimental to us. So when we got engaged last year, we were in New York City in October, and we took one day and we walked all the way down Fifth Avenue, all the way down to One World Trade Center, and we got to Washington Square Park, and the flower beds were filled with this specific anemone. And we stopped in our tracks. I think I even have some footage that I can put on the screen here. We stopped in our tracks and we were like, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. And it was a really cool memory for us. It was just us two. We stood there for a while taking it in, and Brian was like, we have to have this somewhere in our garden. This would be so amazing as a memory. So here we are. We were lucky enough to find it. So I have 3 of these in here. One of them didn't look so hot when we bought it, but took another risk and it's leafing out. These will not kick up until way, way, way later in the season. Like I said, when we were in New York, it was October and they were in full bloom. So that will be nice for some late season interest back here. I mean, when the Nepeta is kind of, on its last leg and the Deutzia is just foliage, we will have this back here. And it does get very, very tall. So I think the tag says on this, it will get 3 to 4 feet tall. So we're talking up here. And we'll be able to see that all the way on our deck. And anemone spreads. So I have dotted 1, 2, 3 back here. But I'm hoping that in a couple of years, it'll just be like a wall of white flowers. And it'll be really, really cool. Especially once the trees get up tall. Okay, last one. And then I promise we're going to plant some stuff. I'm going to stop running my mouth. So this is a white Columbine origami mix. This is another random find. Was not looking for more plants. Someone needs to take my credit card away from me. We were at a nursery here in Charlotte the other day. We were walking through their shade area. And I assumed that I had every plant that I needed for the moon garden. And then we saw this, and I hadn't seen a solid white Columbine in person before. And it really kind of stopped us in our tracks, and it was the last one. So I thought, hey, you know what? It was meant to be. A little serendipitous find. So I have one of these. Again, this is another perennial that will spread. As it goes to seed, it will kind of spread itself around. So eventually we'll have a really cool kind of magical garden back here as things come into bloom and as they spread themselves around and kind of naturalize. Obviously, I'm saving some room for some lovely shade annuals as well. But that's our perennials. Okay, let's get these perennials in the ground.
right, everybody, that does it for round 3 of planting in the moon garden. We've got all the perennials in place and planted, and they all look super, super happy.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see them bloom now.
Yeah, it's nice to just have some things in the garden that are ready to be blooming. They're all lush, they're beautiful as we're getting them into the ground, and so I think they're all going to come in really nice.
Okay, so I asked you this in the last one. Which perennial are you most excited about?
On this side, I definitely have to say the Honor and Jobert Anemones. That was just a really special memory for us, and I just, reflect on that a lot. So I think I'm excited to see those pop up in our garden and sort of glisten in the sunset like we did in New York.
Every time you come out here, you'll just burst into tears.
I'm sure I will.
At the sweet, sweet memories.
Okay, what's yours? What are you most excited about?
I'm most excited about the calamint.
Yep.
The white catmint.
Yeah.
It just feels really unique. I don't know. Maybe it's super common and we just never seen it before.
Yeah, you like Nepeta, so I think that
Yeah.
it's going to fill in and you're going to love it.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it for round 3, and we just have one more left.
Yes, so our next video that we'll be uploading in a couple of days will be part 4, annuals. We finally made it to the last video.
Thank goodness.
And then our moon garden will be complete.
Yep.
We can't wait to show you the final product. So we'll do the annuals, we'll get some mulch in here, and we'll get some beauty shots. It's going to be full. We're excited.
Yep, so stick around for that, and we are so excited to have you guys with us on this journey, and we just hope you like this video. We hope you're loving the moon garden so far. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel.
Bye.